Name Me Not. Name Me Not is obviously the title of the exhibition, which I took from a work on paper that I made last year. One of the oil sticks on paper, which I work on very intensely. When I looked at the work after I'd finished it, it occurred to me that something was looking at me. My occupation with dreams and with sleep as a consequence, again, came through a personal experience. When I was a teenager, I had very, very bad dreams. And they really made me kind of crazy, because I would have these horrible dreams, and then in the daytime, they would still be there. And so I would come to the nighttime, and then I would be afraid to go to sleep because I knew it would start up again. So it was a kind of terror. So very early on, I was confronted with the interior because something was producing that on the inside. I didn't have any access to, psychiatrists. I come from a very simple background. My parents are immigrants, so I just had to kind of deal with it. And when I became an artist, it resurfaced, and I wanted to use that as a sort of propulsion, to bring that into my work, because it's such a big thing. So it didn't come from an intellectual part, it came from an experience. Of course, I knew surrealism, which I never really liked, actually, because I always found it too descriptive. It wasn't open enough, Again, what I'm sort of talking about, Name Me Not, it's like it's a package. It's symbolic. What I'm interested in more in dreams is this sense of everything happening at the same time. And usually you remember a dream and you remember one part, or you remember a feeling. Sometimes you remember a whole sequence and, epic dreams. But I'm interested in this ability of ours to be kind of pulled apart, but be ourselves at the same time. So you're one person, you're yourself, you see yourself, then you're out of your body, then you're somewhere up there. So it's an incredible sort of action-packed experience, I think, to dream. Not always, sometimes it's really boring, but the good dreams are sort of revelatory in some way of what we perhaps are. So it comes back to ideas of existentialism, which I read a lot of the existentialists when I was a late teenager, and was again drawn to it because I had difficulties, So, what is it? Kafka's Transformation. It's fantastic. With regards to the 3 large works in this exhibition, the 2 older works, which I made at the beginning of last year or in the spring, were made for another exhibition in Ireland. And so they are specific to the place. What I decided to do is to base the show around a work by an Irish artist called Nano Reid, who made this beautiful painting of, quite abstract, of a person sleeping in the woods. And it's a sort of a bird's view looking down, and with a person scratched into the surface of the painting. And so I decided to take the title and sort of divide it out and take spell, because that's also sort of my interest, magic, the subconscious. So spell was interesting, and the woods was interesting too, or the wood, because the forest is sort of the last area. The forest is also kind of like a, symbolically, it's sort of like what the subconscious is. I think the subconscious is a forest, and the forest is the actual sort of representation of that. So I was thinking about how to make spell. So this was also the first time I've ever worked in this large scale. So first of all, I thought maybe I should make some preliminary drawings, not to mess it up. And then the more I thought about it, and I started drawing a little bit, and I just really didn't have any inspiration from it. So all I know is I wanted to make it kind of easier for myself, so I decided not to use color for the first one, which is spell. Also, I found that a spell needs to be clear, because if you are making a spell, it's very much to do with intention and clarity, so it needed to be a kind of black and white and simple in a way. So I started off with spray. I made some structure. Then I went in with grey color, and before I knew it, it was kind of done. It was really quick. It was a little bit disappointing, but I liked it. It was interesting. It came together very naturally. And then wood, I wanted to make wood in color because I wanted to represent the forest and its vitality, the way everything grows, and also perhaps the kind of beauty of a forest, but also its danger, its inherent danger. I was thinking about how we used to go in the forest, before we had shops and stuff. We used to have to go in the forest to forage, to take things, to gather wood, and how a simple trip into the forest would be dangerous every time. And I think that issue of nature, again, it connects to the subconscious and the interior. Because in a dream, for example, you are always honest. It's the only place where we are completely honest, because we can't help not being honest. We don't have a choice. And I think that's interesting, and that's why I think it's worthwhile. It's a worthwhile place to dwell in.